Thank you for watching this series aiming at preparing for the paradigm shift and mindset transitioning, redefining the philosophical meaning of society and establishing natural law as a model to overcome the prevailing world dystopia. The mental resistance to let go monetarism is tremendous. Earth custodians will often have more chance to justify their stance if able to generate the right questions. There is nothing to compete about, but demonstrate the ability to initiate a dialogue whose logic stands by itself. There is out there an interest-free monetary theory using precious metals that seem a lot more preferable over fiat currencies. But the real problem, unfixable by man, is the subjectivity of value. Regardless of the currency used, fiat or hard, who or what does determine value? The creator of a concept selling the latter to a manufacturer, or the success of a particular good on the market regulated by demand and supply? Sound monetary theories want us to believe that trends within a free market even out, but the fact is that an investor will always be on the lookout for cheaper investment and more profit margins. Hence, arguing from a value standpoint appears rather moot, if not completely fruitless. When free markets speak of flexibility of value regulated by demand and supply, a fancy terminology, they really do mean and refer to subjectivity. The price of sand is a very good example illustrating the dangers of the subjectivity of value.
If there's one natural resource you'd think we'd never run out of, it's sand. I mean, just look around. Sand covers a large part of the Earth's surface, and it's pretty much indispensable for our civilization. We use sand for glass and for concrete, which we use to make our houses, our roads, bridges, skyscrapers, stadiums, you name it. And while this kind of sand may be perfectly fine for making sand castles or playing a little beach volleyball, it's kind of useless for those industrial applications.
Remove from our lives everything that depends on sand, and the world would look very different. We would have no glass, no computer chips, we would have no buildings. We're just not aware of how important sand is to our daily lives.
Sand is a massively underestimated resource. You can't build a house or a building without sand, and this sand has to come from somewhere.
Unfortunately, we can't use the desert sand of the Sahara or any other desert for construction purposes.
You hear people talk about the end of oil, but nobody's talking about the end of sand.
Per noi la sabbia è maggiore dell'oro.
The demand for that resource is such that the illegal excavation and commerce in sand is a worldwide problem.
Sand is created equal. There are differences in the shapes of the sand grains, the composition, the actual minerals that the sand grains are composed of, and there are differences in the actual size distribution of the sand grains.
A United Nations environmental report says that, mainly due to rapid economic growth in Asia, the mining of sand and gravel greatly exceeds the natural renewal rates of those substances. That's right, we're looking at a sand shortage.
We use millions and millions of tons of concrete every year, especially in the developing world. China, for example, they say in the past 4 years has used as much concrete as the United States has used since it was formed.
Von Mises is right. Value is not in things. Such a paradoxical sense of value cannot be resolved by monetarism. However, going back to the pre-industrialization era is impossible because time is also a device ever changing the sense of value. Moreover, when monetarism is involved, what does not progress does regress. And this means that if not competing continually, one stands to be outpaced by others and lose everything at some point.
Or else, but Silicon Valley, would a security guard look like it comes straight out of Star Wars? The new K5 robot features laser scanning and a 360-degree live video camera. It's 5 feet tall, weighs about 300 pounds, but it will not chase down the bad guys. It's designed to move around people as it sends images back to command center.
I think it's
Get
cool.
one of those for your home.
Yeah, I think it's cool. At least you know you're being photographed.
Yeah.
Although money could have a positive impact if circulating continually, the mentality of hoarding and accumulating wealth make it impossible. Hundreds of years ago or so, the German economist Silvio Gesell had understood the problem pretty well and drafted a monetary theory imposing negative interest rates on any currency that wasn't spent after a certain time. Of course, his theory never encountered any major success after his death at all, because penalizing dormant money seems outrageous. But on the other hand, banking loans are so readily available to overspend that interest repayments steadily slow down the pace of the world economy. Due to its slow-motion legalization, medical marijuana, for example, is currently going through such a boom. But people rushing into it are also unaware that they help fuel sale values, making it less and less affordable for those who might really need it in the future. Such mania are really hazardous to life because it is not just about cannabis, but the entire stock market. Although medical tourism offers ways to circumvent the problem, it doesn't make it right nor ethical. At best, every time the early stage of whatever boom takes shape, buyers should stay away from it. A next presentation will elaborate further on this subject. The most puzzling, perhaps, is that because value is entirely subjective, we end up destroying the fabric of society trying to do good. Shock to the system happens because society resists nature's balance or perpetual zero-sum game. As a result, many must lose for the very few to win the jackpot. Once this is understood, social classes are but an illusion. Realistically speaking, there is nothing wrong with money, until people begin to use it for hoarding, getting whatever perks, free rides, creating and sustaining cheap or slave labor, imposing prices, subjectivity behind any market, boom, accumulating power, which is why meritocracy paradoxically rules over its own self-made servitude. So it all implies that flaws are embedded in monetarism. Because value will forever remain subjective, getting rid of money is the best solution, if supported by the right social premises and
So guys,
mindset.
I'm here today to expose a scam service called Bitcoin Secret Loophole. Wow, I'm not sure where are they coming up with these names. Yes guys, this is their official URL, the official name of the scam software. Here you can see the official URL website on the top, bitcoinsecretloophole.com, guys. And what is this basically, guys? This basically is yet another fake money-making system, money-making scheme, call whatever you want, guys. It's a
Every
huge
year,
scam.
millions of Americans enroll in college. Back in 1952, a year's tuition at Harvard cost $600. Today, that would equal almost $5,000, but in 2012, the actual cost is more than $36,000. That's a huge increase, and it's getting out of control. Over the past 25 years, tuition has increased yearly at a rate 6 percentage points higher than inflation. To keep up, students are borrowing more money. 2/3 of all students are now in debt, and the average graduate owes over $25,000 on student loans alone. Total national student debt is almost $1 trillion, more than our total national credit card debt. So what's causing all this? Credential inflation, easy access to loans, and the decreasing value of the American dollar. As more students attend college, their degrees, or credentials, become less valuable, so many go back for more degrees and take on more debt. And the government backs this with taxpayer dollars.
As a matter of fact, many find economics such a big real headache. They have difficulties to understand inflation and where it originates, and why it is the root cause of all the world paradoxes they help sustain. Market boom wouldn't exist if there ever was a way to attribute the fairest prices to whatever is traded on the stock market. Unfortunately or not, people often strive to inflate, make things look better than they actually are, and this tendency is driven by monetarism. Honesty is very rarely rewarded in such a landscape, and this implies that mistrust is rampant. Reality of nature is what turns any monetary theories into an unsolvable puzzle, because nature tells us that profits are but an illusion. It sounds as if money helps give many a life purpose, but for those people, a moneyless world is regarded as an absolute threat. Realistically, monetarism has conditioned people for much too long, and this paradigm begins to show deep cracks throughout the system. Mainly because the pursuit of technology cheapens the means of production and therefore the elusive investment in human energy.
Hi there. Heading to work, huh?
Gotta hurry.
Ever feel like you're a little too rushed?
Huh?
Or that your skills aren't being fully utilized?
Well, we all have to make sacrifices.
Sacrifices?
Yes, to the system, to our leaders.
Sir, do you know what a cult is?
It's a small group of people.
Not necessarily. Cults can be huge. There's no upper limit on their size.
I guess.
You might even be in a cult yourself.
Me? No.
But if you were, would you know it?
Of course. At least, I think so.
What about people who are born into a cult? Do they know?
Well, that's just sad. Someone should educate them.
Just imagine being born into a cult and nobody to tell you.
It's terrible.
And would they even want to know?
Oh dear.
Just think of it.
The Earth Custodians movement merely strikes at the core. There is nothing to lose, really. Free will comes with personal responsibility, and there is no personal responsibility without staring at the precipice and taking action. And yes, free will does exist, but within the law. We all have the free will to notice or not that nature, immutable law, just works the same way for everybody.